Some women have the power to awaken deep emotions in a man, while others simply graze the surface. The distinction isn't in their touch, but in their intent. A man of depth doesn't react to superficial actions. He's sparked to life when someone dares to see him in ways others don't. Are you curious why he seems to overlook you? Why his desire has waned? It's not about how old you are or how you look. The truth is, you're not connecting with him on a level that truly resonates. As long as you think desire is only sparked in the bedroom, you'll find yourself feeling frustrated and unseen. Today, I'm here to reveal 5 areas where a man craves to be touched, even if he'd never admit it, areas that awaken his mind, body, and spirit. The last one is the most potent yet also the most tricky to navigate if you're unsure how to approach it. This is a game changer for those ready to step out of the shadows. Stick around until the end. You'll uncover insights that have never been shared with you and that he would never openly confess. Have you ever reached out to a man only to feel nothing? No spark, no lingering gaze, not even a change in his breath? Just that awkward silence, signaling that your touch didn't resonate. Let me explain why. You touched him where everyone else does, in places that don't hold significance for him anymore. That's the crux of the issue. You're trying to open a new door with an old key, and that approach just won't cut it. Let's dive into the first area, the lower back. That's where his defenses start to soften. It's no accident that the weight of life's experiences gathers there. Not just physically, but emotionally too. A man who has lived, supported a family, faced setbacks, and made tough choices doesn't crave aimless touches. He yearns for a presence that communicates, "I'm here and I see you." Imagine this. He's busy with chores or answering emails, caught up in his routine. You walk over quietly and place your hand gently on the curve of his lower back. Not aggressively or with overt intent, but with a firm yet respectful touch. This isn't a request for intimacy. It's an invitation for connection. And in that moment, if you do it right, something shifts. Not because you're turning him on, but because you're reaching into his deeper self. As Jung would say, you remind him that someone still sees him as a man, that he hasn't been forgotten in a world that often overlooks him. Don't be mistaken. This isn't magic. It's not just about the act of touching. It's about your presence. It's your energy conveying what words can no longer express. The lower back is a silent call, one that only women who have moved beyond seeking outside validation can hear. Need proof? Reflect on this. When was the last time a man reacted when you brushed against his hip? It's likely so long ago that you can't recall because you've been led to believe that bold gestures, clear communication, or playful intimacy are what keep desire alive. But that's a misconception. It's the nuance, the pause, the deliberate touch that communicates, "I'm not here to take from you. I'm here to truly see you." When you reach out, do so with purpose rather than expectation. Understand that this simple gesture may spark something new, an opportunity for a fresh connection, a chance to mend what once felt irreparable. If you approach it mindfully, you'll discover that you're not merely touching his skin. You're connecting with his essence, as Jung would describe it, his narrative, his struggles, his profound need to be acknowledged, not just as a provider, a father, or a friend, but as a complete individual. This is how you ignite desire, not through physicality, but through the soul. And that, my dear, is a truth few grasp and even fewer dare to explore. Now, let's delve into the second key point, the touch that rekindles the forgotten. If you've grasped the earlier message, you already realize that desire doesn't flourish on the surface. It ignites when you connect with intention, when you convey to a man that beneath the ashes, embers still smolder. This flame isn't ignited by the obvious, but by what has been neglected. We arrive at the next crucial aspect, the inner arm, a touch that revives the lost. This area, where few venture to explore, holds immense potential for fostering both emotional and physical bonds. Yet, because it remains hidden and rarely discussed, it's often overlooked, costing you the spark of his desire. From a neuropsychological standpoint, the inner arm is rich with sensitive nerve endings, but more importantly, it's intricately tied to emotional memory. Yes, the memory of sensations, the part that recalls gentle first touches, acts of kindness, and sincere affection from those who simply wished to be present. When you touch this area with tenderness and mindfulness, you're not seducing him like a restless teenager. You're awakening dormant archetypes. As Jung might say, you're conveying, without uttering a word, I can touch you without any ulterior motive, simply because you deserve to feel cherished. Now, consider this. How often do you think a mature man has experienced such touch without any strings attached? How frequently has someone rested a hand on him just to remind him that he's still alive, still deserving of unconditional love? It happens infrequently, for over the years, physical contact often becomes mechanical or fades away entirely. The women in his life cease to touch him with curiosity. They view him as a father, a friend, a supporter, but no longer as a man, and that can be more painful than the passage of time itself, drying up the roots of desire. In Stoicism, there's a profound notion. While you can't control how others perceive you, you can influence the significance you assign to small gestures. The touch on the inner arm is a subtle yet potent act, brimming with intention. It's a conscious choice to be present, and when this choice is made thoughtfully, it holds the remarkable ability to revive what once seemed extinguished. When a man feels that gentle touch, he doesn't think, she's trying to seduce me. Instead, he reflects, this reminds me of my worth, that I still have something valuable to offer, and that beauty resides within me. Such a touch is effortless. It demands nothing and doesn't impose. It simply exists. Yet its influence is profound, awakening a deep-seated need within him, the desire to feel valued. It communicates silently that someone sees him for who he is, without judging his age, his scars, or his struggles. And in that moment, he begins to change. He starts to break down his barriers and lowers his defenses, suddenly viewing you in a new light. It's not because you offer him something, it's because you remind him of something he believed was lost, his right to be desired. The greatest misunderstanding is thinking that desire ignites from empty promises or sweet nothings. In truth, desire flourishes when you reach him in places others fear to tread. It takes courage to be different, to recognize that a body is more than just skin. It holds a history, and every gesture, every touch, can unlock a door long forgotten. So, the next time you're with him, resist the urge to rush. Instead, place your hand gently on the inside of his arm. Stay silent. Just be there, fully present and feeling. If you do it right, you'll sense it. Not in an immediate reaction, but in his breath, in the way he gazes at you, in that subtle quiver that indicates something inside him has stirred. And that's where the real magic begins. Not in sex or conquest, but in genuine connection. The kind that endures, transforms, and is achieved by only a few. This is the third point, where vulnerability shifts into devotion. By now, you understand that mere touch is not synonymous with connection, and an aimless touch can be more detrimental than no touch at all. We've discussed the lower back and the inside of the arm, But now we venture into a territory many overlook due to fear of the unknown. Here lies the third point, the jawline, where vulnerability evolves into devotion. This area is not just physically sensitive, it embodies both power and fragility. It's exposed, close to the eyes, neck, and mouth. To touch this area is to convey, I'm close enough to hurt you, yet I choose to protect you. And do you know what this inspires in a mature man? It offers him the opportunity to trust again, reminding him that he can lower his defenses without fear of being overwhelmed. The jawline isn't caressed to rush intimacy. It's touched, as if time has slipped away, by someone who understands that true desire flourishes in the spaces of silence. There's a straightforward strategy that can transform your interactions with an experienced man. During your next calm conversation, resist the urge to interrupt with romantic gestures or hints. Instead, approach gradually and gently place your finger at the base of his jaw. Lock eyes with him, smile, and take a moment to simply observe. Hold that connection for a few seconds, then slowly retract your hand. Say nothing and carry on with your conversation as if nothing had happened. Did you feel it? That is true power, not through manipulation, but through presence. This gesture communicates more than any compliment ever could. You possess power, yet you choose not to control. You choose to protect. You're conveying that you have nothing to prove. You're here, and if he wants to join you, he's welcome to stay. This kind of touch disrupts the usual pattern, as many women tend to wait for the perfect moment, a kiss, a touch, the right words. But those who genuinely spark desire don't wait for moments. They create them. This touch on the jaw isn't just a technique. It's a quiet declaration. You're telling him he can let go without fear because your intentions are pure. You're here to embrace all of him, his wounds and his strengths. Now, let's talk about the fourth point, the area he never expected you to notice. If you're still with me, you understand that touching the body alone without connecting with the soul is like lighting a candle in a dusty room. It flickers for a moment before extinguishing. Real connection doesn't stem from rehearsed lines or techniques. It comes from being present, intentional, and genuinely understanding. Yet, there's a subtle, almost invisible mistake that can undo any progress. We're referring to that fourth point, behind the knees, the spot he never anticipated you would pay attention to. This often overlooked area serves as a powerful metaphor for what happens when we disregard the unseen. For behind the knees lies a sensitivity that doesn't respond to logic or immediate desire. It represents what's been neglected, what's hidden, what's deemed insignificant. And here's the error: believing that only the visible matters, that what he shows you is all that needs to be touched. Many women get distracted by the obvious, attempting to change their lives from the outside, superficially. They might enhance their appearance, modify their speech, or feign confidence. Yet, the deeper essence remains untouched, just like the backs of the knees. Sensitive, overlooked, vulnerable. The mental trap lies in thinking that something doesn't exist simply because it's not mentioned, that it lacks significance if he doesn't inquire about it, or that it holds no value if you don't recognize it. Thus, you end up avoiding the uncomfortable, the aspects you find hard to face. This is precisely why many women struggle in relationships. They attempt to transform externally while remaining unchanged internally. And the man senses this, not through words, but through his body, his silence, that gap that seems impossible to close. When you gently touch him behind the knees, you express something that few women have dared to reveal: a deep care for the parts of him he's long since forgotten. You're not just drawn to the obvious or the superficial. You're there for what genuinely matters. To a mature man, this is groundbreaking. because most have lost hope. They've come to accept their invisibility, both in body and in spirit. Jung might refer to this as an encounter with the shadow, the neglected aspects that lie within us all. Ignoring this can have significant repercussions. You risk losing not just his desire, but his respect, as he can sense when your gestures lack authenticity, when they stem from technique rather than true intention. In that moment, you blend into the crowd, someone who doesn't know where to touch, where it hurts, where life still thrives. The touch behind the knees isn't merely an intimate gesture. It's a testament to your willingness to explore what others overlook. If you approach it with the same ease as when you caress his face, something profound begins to shift, not just in him, but within you. When you start to notice what others miss and appreciate what's easily dismissed, your perspective on your own life begins to change. You start recognizing what you've ignored for so long: your fears, your hidden emotions, your yearning to be touched with respect, curiosity, and genuine presence. So, don't fool yourself. What seems like a simple spot on the body is, in reality, a portal to the soul. This portal opens only for those brave enough to face the unseen, for those seeking genuine transformation rather than quick fixes. The fifth and final point is about a connection that transcends the physical. We've reached the culmination of this journey, and if you've been listening closely, you know this isn't merely about seduction techniques. It's about reconnecting with something many have thought was lost: self-respect. This fifth point isn't just a location on the body. It symbolizes all that you've neglected: the scalp, representing a bond that goes beyond the physical. If you fail to grasp its true significance, you'll remain on the surface, mistaking desire for something solely physical, when in fact, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. Jung would describe this as the encounter with the animus, the male aspect every woman carries within her. Touching a man's scalp is far more than just running your fingers through his hair. It's about reaching the core of his world, where his thoughts, tensions, and uncertainties reside. It's as if you're quietly communicating: I desire not only your body, but your mind, and I'm ready to embrace all of you. However, not everyone can achieve this. If done incorrectly, it can feel intrusive or awkward, but when executed with care, it demands your full presence. It requires a woman who's unafraid to let silence speak through her fingers, and therein lies the challenge. Many women find it difficult to embrace silence. They crave immediate responses, longing for him to act, to signal, to validate their feelings. When those reactions are absent, frustration sets in. They may withdraw, or worse, adopt a victim mentality, lamenting, I did everything right, and he didn't even notice me. What they often fail to grasp is that desire flourishes through patience, not pressure. Gentle gestures, like touching the scalp, aren't merely about arousal. They foster connection, allowing him to sense that there's someone who can embrace him without demands. If you're constantly searching for shortcuts, you might join the ranks of those who feel frustrated and bewildered, left wondering why he continues to shut down. The truth is straightforward. It's not that he lacks feelings, it's that he has lost trust. Your impatience and need for reassurance reinforce his belief that it's not worth opening up, that no woman truly appreciates the depth of a meaningful connection. A heartfelt touch on the scalp can release oxytocin, the trust hormone, but only if it's devoid of sexual motives or manipulation. When you can create that feeling without ulterior motives, you tap into what genuinely matters. Achieving this isn't simple. It demands a shift in perspective. You must stop acting like an emotional beggar, waiting for his acknowledgement. Instead, embody the essence of a woman who feels complete. For only from that sense of wholeness can you connect without neediness or fear, without rushing. This distinction separates those who inspire genuine desire from those who merely evoke sympathy. Transforming this dynamic begins not with altering your actions, but with refining your intentions. Recognize that if you're not prepared to connect soulfully, it's better to refrain from touching at all. Men perceive emotions not just through physical touch, but through energy. If you're feeling empty, he will sense it. So, seek change, truly, not through empty promises or sweet words, but through your presence, patience, and respect. If you're unsure where to begin, try this approach. The next time you're with him, embrace silence. Move toward him slowly. Gently place your hand on his head and simply remain there. Breathe steadily. Expect nothing in return, and just be. This simple act, when executed with sincerity, can awaken something within him that has never been touched before. His desire to trust once again. When that moment arrives, prepare yourself, for you're no longer connecting with just any man. You're reaching his true self, as Jung would describe it, his deepest essence. That's where authenticity lies, where genuine desire ignites. If you've made it this far, know that you stand apart from the rest. Most abandon the journey when it gets tough, when harsh truths unsettle their egos or remind them of the parts they've allowed to fade. But you persevered. You listened, reflected, and now face a choice. Will you continue to engage with life on a superficial level, or will you dare to explore the depths that truly matter? Awakening is a personal journey, one that cannot be forced. If anything you've heard today strikes a chord with you, it's time to open your eyes and take action. We need to pay tribute to those who refuse to give in, who still hold on to the belief that respect, passion, and genuine connection can be restored. If you count yourself among them, drop a comment with just 4 words. I love wisdom, along with your country. This simple phrase captures everything. It's not just about men. It's about you and your relationship with the world, your emotions, and your dignity. I'm Gabriel, and this channel, Home of Wisdom, isn't here to entertain you or feed you what you want to hear. Its purpose is to awaken you and help you reclaim the power you've surrendered to others. This is not about empty theories or hollow promises. It's about living with strength, intelligence, and purpose. If this message resonates with you, subscribe now. Not for my sake, but for yours. Being part of this community is a commitment to awakening, even when it's painful. It's about breaking free from numbness and taking decisive action. Share this video. Someone else might need it just as much as you did today. And don't leave just yet. This video is merely the beginning. Look out for the 2 videos that will pop up on your screen soon. One will guide you on how to regain lost respect, while the other teaches you how to establish boundaries without feeling guilty. Choose the one that speaks to you the most right now, because this conversation is far from over. It's just getting started.